passed away today. I just wanted to kind of give him a little bit of a moment of silence for everything he's done for so many people in the world. Whether or not his views or beliefs were intact or fine with me, he saved many lives and helped a lot of people in rough times. So just wanted to give him a short moment of silence. Okay, so go ahead and start off the podcast. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about a few animes. Now, be warned, there will be spoilers here. I just wanted to kind of hit what animes we're going to be talking about. And before we go into them, we will also have a small little gap. So you will be able to cut off the stream before we, drop spoilers and you're not ready for it. But today we will be talking about SAO, Rising of the Shield Hero, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, and Hajime no Ippo. Roughly not in those orders. Mason, do you have the order again?
So, yes, I do. It'll be Shield Hero, Ippo, then it'll be going into Demon Slayer, and lastly we'll be talking about SAO.
Okay.
Reason why SAO will be last is due to the fact that it's a very normal franchise, and I want to try to hit the newer ones first.
Okay, that sounds fair. And from what I've heard, a lot of people do like the newer ones over the unfortunate
SAO
beginnings of SAO.
Well, no, everyone's decent with the first arc of Ironclad SAO. It's once you get past that, everyone starts hating it. But, I mean, I understand their feelings. I personally enjoyed every episode I watched of SAO. And I especially like the movie and the newest season because they have clearly, in my opinion, kept it very consistent and kept the storyline linear. I love it.
Okay, well, before you get too deep.
Yes, because I will.
Yeah. I guess let's go ahead and hit the first topic. It's Rising of the Shield Hero, right?
Yes, so Rising of the Shield Hero, which is I'm assuming a fan art. I don't know who did this, but it's fan art.
It's definitely fan art, but it's recent. So.
It's popping up on screen now. So, this show came out this year.
January, I think? Right?
Came out early January, yes. Because I was getting back and, oh my god, your keyboard's going to be picking up again. That's
I'm
annoying.
Sorry. I typed heavy, guys. I'm sorry.
We need to make sure you lighten those. But this show comes out early this year, or it came out early this year, and I don't know the artist.
Another one?
Abraham, I'm sorry, I don't know the artist. I didn't look very detailed into it. I was grabbing pictures.
Yeah.
and all fairness,
you gotta at least post a link or something.
I can get you the links. That I can do.
Yeah,
I'll post that later.
That's all you really have to do. But usually when they're publicized on
Google.
Yeah.
But this show came out early January. I didn't start watching it until about
January 9th of 2019.
Until after January. I was watching it late January, early February, while I was gone for more training.
Mm-hmm.
I personally loved it. I was watching it in public, and I didn't give a shit on who told or who was watching me and stuff. I said, I'm watching my shows. Mm-hmm. And so, this was a great show. I found myself loving, especially the very beginning, whenever he just finds the book, and he goes to a library and finds a book and he gets transported. Like that, you don't see that every day.
Mm-hmm. That was a pretty cool thing for me, but I'm glad that it kind of steered away from the typical isekai, in which it did transport him to another world. So of course there's that, but it was more. It wasn't just about him anymore, but also it was about his struggles he went through, as well as 3 other people, and
yes, the bitches who fuck him over. Yes,
yeah,
I know.
Well, up to the point, which now they're still not helping him.
I mean, I don't know about who your favorite character is. If it's not out of the 4, who's your favorite character, which is not a cardinal and not one of their party members.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to deal with the blacksmith. The blacksmith is my favorite.
The blacksmith is a good pick.
He's a great character. The way he reacts to him, he's like, you know, you're an asshole, kid, right? But I'll do business with you. And he realizes, how the hell are you the people they keep talking about? You're nothing like him. Mm-hmm. Like it's just that relationship he builds with him.
Yeah,
and it's just glorious.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely a very close relationship. I almost looked at it as like kind of the dream father relationship. It's just like you know you're doing good, kid.
You're doing good, kid. You're not my kid, but I want you to be my kid. And then I think everyone fell in love with Philo and I'm not butcher this name. Raftelia. I'm not butcher the name.
Alright.
But especially whenever she was found as a slave little girl, and then she comes in the next episode like, yeah, if you give demi-humans XP, we turn into this. What? Yes, Abraham. It's very similar to the works of Kirigaya and Igil and SAO. It's almost a similar relationship, but in this one, I feel like it's a lot more enjoyable, other than an SAO where they're great friends and they even continue that in real life.
I don't think the one. Well, I'm not fully caught up. I'm not like as far in SAO to really know, but so far the blacksmith has not gotten that much screen time.
Well, I hope you like spoilers tonight, boy, because you're gonna be hearing all of them.
That's fine. I'll forget them by tomorrow.
If y'all have caught up with Rising of Shield Hero, and I'm gonna say this again, prepare for spoilers.
Yeah.
Major spoilers. I'm gonna be going in.
Look, don't.
Hey! Rising of the Shield Hero is not poop.
Look,
I don't care who you're talking about.
Rising of the Shield Hero is great. Not to mention the soundtrack is actually amazing.
The intro and outro for both arcs so far have been great.
I've not seen. I don't think I've watched or listened to the outros, but I've watched the intro several times.
The Shield Hero is definitely not the underdog, but he is the underdog to the other heroes of the other world. Now, this world, he is not. But to compare to Glass, he is still the underdog. Mm-hmm. Now,
Possibly. We don't know if he's leveled up more than she is now.
But at the same time, she also told him, if you ever want to be able to withstand me, you have to level up and go beyond what you are now. Which means she was ahead of them by a long shot.
This hero is so fucking dumb, I hate him.
Yes, that is very true. He is a college student.
By far the worst character.
And especially whenever she gets manipulated by the princess.
The fucking bitch.
Exactly.
literal. Her name is bitch.
You can't accept anything that is said unless it's coming from her. But you have to admit, the parts whenever Philo kicks him in the balls on consecutive times is one of the greatest moments. Because he's like, I'm here to help you. And she's just like, bitch, get away from me. Kick. Yes, he's very much a pedophile. Yes, Abraham. Very much. I will say, one thing I dislike about Nofumi is that he does not know when the girls are trying to hit on him. Like, she's doing all this work for him, and he's, like, oblivious. He's completely oblivious, and every time I'm sitting there, motherfucker, just look at her. Especially in one of the latest episodes when she had the swimming suit. And it was like bikini top.
Does this look good
and
on
it
me?
was like, does this look good?
Come on.
And he just sat there. This will work perfect.
But, okay, to be fair, I'm glad that they're not doing this because the anime doesn't need it, and it would be so unnecessary.
That's very true. I'll give you that.
Because we've seen other animes do that, and that's where they take curves.
There are definitely plenty of animes that do that. And I guess it's a great a great change to see him as acting as a father role rather than as a boyfriend or husband role.
I mean, he's essentially he's being the shield. You know, he's protecting his friends.
But I think one of the best parts is whenever in one of the later episodes when Melty-chan is asking, is scared and everything. He's like, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." And she had no idea what he was like until afterwards. And even whenever she was acting all different and stuff compared with him, and her mom finds out, and she denies it. Mm-hmm. And she just completely flat out denies it all. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's so typical, at least for me, in high school girl drama. Mm-hmm. Which is about the age range I would assume she's in, or if younger.
Yeah, no, probably younger. Probably like middle school. Which, it pains me. Every time they
try to push them two together?
Yes.
I mean, like, hey, that makes sense why Philo and Melty get along so well.
Yeah.
Because they are the same age group. Especially that one, the one episode whenever they first find Melty, and then Melty disappears without the clothes and everything, and then she's inside Philo's feathers. And they're like, she ate her. Holy shit, we're leaving. Mm-hmm. That was so hilarious, in my personal opinions. Now, one thing you may find about this podcast, and these podcasts to come, and anything with this group, we all have our own opinions. We're all going to be completely different in what we think and how we think it. So if you disagree with us, hey, that's you, that's us. As long as it's one of those things where you can accept that everyone has an opinion, whether or not it stinks or not, just like everyone has an asshole and it all stinks. Who knows? Maybe we have the same ones, maybe we won't.
Show very meh.
So, for the show, it all depends on how it's going to continue. I'll agree with that. It has been getting to a slow point. I think they got to the point where they're like, okay, we had our go, especially in the beginning. It was very strong. Like you said, Zaya. I don't know how to say your name.
I'd probably say Young Zaya.
Young Zaya.
I don't know. I'm sorry if we pronounced it right.
Yes. So like you said, the beginning was good, but then it started slowing down, and I can admit that. I'm watching just in case it does increase or get a little bit more hyped. But
ooh, manga. We get someone's in the manga.
Yes.
Whoa. Wasn't prepared for that. Hopefully we don't get spoiled.
So, Xenort,
Xehanort.
I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm horrible with names and pronunciations. English is not good for me. I'm very bad at English.
No language is good for me.
Misa programmer. Misa make my own language. But yeah. So, like I was saying, you may disagree, you might agree, who knows? No, I haven't. I've watched a few Kingdom Hearts. I never played it myself, so yes, I definitely don't know anything from that.
I am sorry. I don't play Kingdom Hearts. I didn't have the money as a child to like invest in the franchise, and now it's like very intimidating to like even look at it because it would there's so many games that I would have to play for it, and I don't want to like just jump into the latest one. Yeah, we do need to change the title. Actually, it's not updated for some reason.
Whoops. There we go. That should be updated. Yep.
Sorry about that, guys.
I don't know why I didn't. I think I probably accidentally not pressed update. I don't know why I was that stupid. Might have been the drinks I had earlier. Being buzzed and just enjoying the talk and telling your roommates how stupid they are for not caught up with Demon Slayer.
Now, my favorite character in Rising of Shield Hero would probably have to be the Queen of...
yes, Melty's mother.
No.
No?
No. The Queen Filolio. I forget her name, actually.
Oh!
Vittoria?
Vittoria.
I want to say it's Vittoria.
Is it Vittoria?
Oh, here we go. We're looking shit up now.
Yeah, Victoria. It is Victoria.
Yeah. No, yeah.
She's
probably my favorite. I love
Holy
her so
shit!
much.
When she fought Philo, that was one of those. That was one of those. Holy shit! Can she actually pull it off?
Yeah.
Man.
That was nuts, and
That's-
I love to see how powerful she was. Not to mention how huge she is whenever she turns.
I find
into
it funny though when she was talking with the Shield Hero, and she's like, "If you don't try to work it out, I will kill you." And them.
Yeah.
Which just shows you how much more powerful she is.
After they got revenge on the redhead princess and the king, the shit started to decline. I think there was an episode where it was definitely slow after that, but I feel like that was towards the end of kind of an arc almost.
It was a change of heart because when that, because I will say that after because that was the first like true villains that you could see was the king and the princess.
Mm-hmm. And
so once they got rid of that, they're like, okay, where are we gonna go next? And so that's why they're starting the new. They had that first few episodes of transitioning into the next like villain role, and then like this last episode actually somewhat kicked off a bit, especially with the fight with the guy with the scythe and
wow, I can't believe I forgot his name.
I know and Alexandria.
Yeah.
I know her name. I can't think of his because especially with Alexandria asking for the gem to be furnished by him, and then the gem telling her I can't fight him. Like that just intrigues me. Like, okay, so magic actually has people that can talk to them in that sense and stuff like that. So that's an intriguing thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that they just slowed down for a small episode or so, and basically like entered into a new arc, which now shit's pretty crazy on this last episode because now
it ended very crazily, yes, especially with Glass showing up.
Yeah, essentially we're having two dimensions of heroes come together, and I imagine that if Glass gets beat by Naofumi and as well as the other two, that the fourth hero could possibly even show up.
I feel like the fourth hero is going to show up in the next few episodes and in the next wave.
Yeah, or at least get a glimpse of him.
Well, because if you look at it, the way they've done it is the first, like, the second to last wave. So not this wave, but the wave before Glass showed up. But then she disappeared with the wave, which begs the question: why did Alexandria and her partner? Why are they still in this world? Yet the wave's over. But when Glass was here, she disappeared with the wave.
Yes.
So that brings question how that occurs. Because the whole point of it is what's happening. Because like they said in the show, both worlds are dying.
Yeah.
What happens if they actually try to work together? And this has a big thing which goes back to the Log Horizon for me. Because I'm like thinking, well, he's finding a way to connect all three worlds.
Careful there with the Log Horizon.
Yes. I'll not get into the Log Horizon because I can get into that very much.
Yeah. I think what's my theory, at least right now, is that the heroes from the other world are trying to test and train these heroes, and to possibly get them to combine and like fight the waves together or something.
But if both of their worlds are dying,
and they're trying to get at the same time, essentially.
But then why would
possibly? I don't know if the waves work together.
But they don't, because they don't send waves to their world. They get those waves to come to them.
Yeah.
So that begs the question: why? What's the purpose? Especially with all the creatures being so evil. Like why? Why is it every time you see something called a wave and attacking to another world, why does it always have to be hostile?
Yeah.
Why is there never like that first initial thought? Because if there was that first initial like treaty piece, like what's the diplomat? Like a first time wave coming in, and there's like a diplomat, and he got shut down and all this stuff. I can understand them going to war. Why was there never such a thing where like that happens first and then it causes the war or anything like that?
I'm thinking they probably didn't have a way to the other world at some point. Because I think, like, I want to say glass is the reason why they're getting connected. Why don't they just take the show and pull a Hunter x Hunter and end it? That's funny.
I personally don't know. I've never really watched Hunter x Hunter. I've been told to watch it. I just never found time to watch it.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating because there's a lot, but...
definitely. It's not as bad as...
One Piece or something like that.
Fairy Tail, One Piece, yeah.
Well, Fairy Tail's not even that big. I think Fairy Tail's like 600?
Something like that, and this is the following season.
Yeah.
But yes,
apparently that's getting hype.
Anytime there's like a lot of episodes, I tend to not watch. I watch all the newer ones first, get caught up, and then I'll start watching everything else, or go back and rewatch new ones.
I would recommend it. It's actually really good in my opinion.
I've been wanting to go watch it. It's just
it's just they're on an infinite hiatus right now, which sucks.
But anyways,
So
Oh fuck!
I don't think there's maybe much more we can really talk about with Shield Hero until the next episode comes out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Ah, man. Wait, does it come out tomorrow?
It comes out tomorrow along with...
I thought it came out Thursdays.
No, it comes out on Wednesdays, 8 a.m. Wednesday mornings if you have premium on Crunchyroll or VRV.
Okay, well, there you go. I guess I know where I'm
And then Demon Slayer comes out on Sundays. For
Saturdays. Saturday morning, I know. Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Okay. I never got enough. My VRV account never gets me a notification until Sunday for some odd reason, I guess. Mm-hmm. But okay, so Saturdays, I'll now be watching those.
Yep.
So you're the bastard who keeps using my watching them before I can watch them. You piece of shit.
Yeah.
No wonder I'd always have to go rewind.
Yeah, I keep up with the recent.
Which goes into our next topic, which is one show that you love and I have no fucking idea about. Ippo.
Okay, guys, so...
Which is now coming on the screen now.
Yeah. Hajime no Ippo is a long-running sports anime. It actually is still going, but the anime hasn't continued in quite a while. Right now, the manga is still going, and it's been a rough ride just because the author has had so many rough times as well as medical problems, I believe. But it's a sports anime from, I believe, early 90s that has continued up into today. Kind of just covering a little bit of the basic general stuff before... basically, I'm giving you guys a little bit of time in case you don't want spoilers. It's incredibly hype. It's probably one of my favorite animes so far, and I used to not... I've almost hardly watched any sports anime until recently, except for this one. This one has been my one exception. But
we have had a few friends who told us to go watch some sports animes. I remember back a while ago, but I never did.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them aren't too great, and they're not that comparable just because it's hard to get the amount of hype that you would get in something like a medieval fantasy anime, something like that you would in sports, and making it somewhat realistic.
Or Angel Beats.
Okay, I'm not watching Angel Beats, so don't.
Have you? You've never watched... Oh my gosh.
I've not watched a lot of things.
Sir, I have a whole list for you then.
But, yeah. You said you were going to ask some questions possibly about this?
Yes.
Go for it.
So, as someone who's never seen it, what should they expect from it? Like, what would be... Because most animes, especially with character creation, they give you a character that you can relate to and stuff. So how can a nerdy person relate to someone who plays sports?
Okay, so I'm going to start off the anime, which basically how the anime starts. It does start a little slow, but for those that want to watch it, which I highly recommend, and back out now if you don't want to be spoiled, or maybe watch it within like the next couple years, that way you forget. But it starts off with Ippo, the main character, running home from school. He's actually doing a walk home from school, which Ippo is a very shy guy. He works for his mom's fish place, so he always goes to school smelling like fish. His parents are barely able to live. He's barely able to live and eat just because the fish place doesn't bring in that much money. But his mom, and that's what his dad actually died, or at least as far as we know, his dad died doing that. running the fishing business. So they would like to, I believe, honor that tradition, keep following through with that, and keep it up and running. But because of that, he's built up a decent amount of muscles, and but because he goes to school smelling like fish every day, since he just goes home and helps his mom, he's called Mommy's Boy. He gets bullied for smelling like fish. He stinks up the whole classroom, you know. On the way home one time, he gets bullied. He gets kicked down a hill, and then brought under a bridge and kind of beat up and stuff. And it doesn't really faze him any. You know, he's kind of been used to this. He's been used to it for a while. But then one of the boxers running along the road sees this, stops by, and actually helps him out. And he gets to watch this guy while he basically beats up the bullies. And then he brings him home after he passed out from the bullying to the boxing gym. And from there, he had him kind of let out a little self-esteem in the boxing gym. And he actually showed an amazing punch, which ended up tearing one of his fists. And then from there, he started to get a liking for wanting to be strong like the guy that saved him was, as well as kind of get a little bit more self-defense, and he eventually started to love boxing. So that's kind of how it starts out. It starts out a little slow, but it's a very emotional story at the beginning. And then from there on, it starts to get incredibly hype, and pretty much every other episode, it's insanely hype. It's well animated, and it's even well drawn. Having a sports anime that operates and like goes really, really fast and happens in blink of an eye, basically, having that well drawn is something that's like very important and pretty hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, especially with how many times I've been trying to create my own anime. I know the artist side is very annoying to deal with. I'm not an artist, and the people I've tried to work with who are artists always keep me informed on how difficult it is. So it's very
it's not an easy trip doing something so challenging. Like
no,
that.
It's not. I wish it was, but then again, if it was, then everyone would be doing it. So
yeah.
Another question, I guess, would be, how's the protagonist, or is there someone that you would really consider a protagonist in the show? Like, for me, I'm a traditional fantasy boy who just watches fantasy shows. So there's usually a clear protagonist for each arc of the show. Who would you see as a true villain? Or true, I mean, I guess in this one it would be a true opponent that he has to box in the future.
Okay, well, the anime is actually a little bit unique in the fact that it doesn't have a true protagonist. It's more like a challenge in front of him. But basically, the challenge that's sitting in front of him is the rank 1 boxer in the world for his weight division. Now, I will say it's going through the anime, for the most part, the whole entire anime, the protagonist is mainly going to be himself as he faces off different challenges and basically tries to overcome walls and stuff and challenges that become upon him. So it's a little bit emotional seeing him having to go over each of those, but for the most part, there are arc protagonists in which, in this set of episodes, he's basically training to face this challenge, and every single fight adds on to him coming up to this particular guy that he's probably going to have to face. That's renowned in Japan or renowned overseas or something, and he eventually has to overcome them, and then it goes on to the next one, and a lot of hype builds up. So. In between all those fights and getting on to the next one and overcoming his own challenges, it's pretty crazy. So.
Now, is this only like one season long, or is there two? Or how many seasons do you think would actually be relevant for this anime versus how many there is?
As far as the manga goes, I want to say there's like 6 or 7 seasons, but in the anime right now, I believe there's only 3 seasons. And there's about I think the first 2 seasons are 30 to 40 episodes long, and the third season is 80, I believe. Actually, no, I think the first season's 80, and then the other ones are like 30 or 40.
Do you think it's really worth that they have all these episodes for this boxing style anime? I mean, because I know there's plenty of other animes that most people feel like they should create more seasons, but they don't. And there's especially those that have lots of seasons. They're like, why can't you just cut these down?
I think it's not. I don't. They're not filler to say the least. Hardly any of it's filler. Pretty much almost every episode is him either going through an emotional challenge or some physical wall, and basically him training for this challenge. And I think in all there might be like 1 or 2 filler episodes per season. But as far as like each episode having a purpose, I mean, they probably could have like cut out a little bit of it and done like, hey, this like 1 year later or something, he's now the Japan's champion, and basically they like only show the highlights of the fight or whatever, and they could just hurry up to the end. But as for like watching his whole journey, I don't think there's really too much that they could have cut off.
Okay, so for the connection between, and I believe you already said this, but like I guess the connection between to connect with this person is just the everyday challenges you gotta go through. And okay,
yeah, I would say it's more so around the everyday challenges and like
especially with all like how, and I'm gonna poke in my own personal life for this, which would be, I don't know why everyone I always find myself around when I get into the like actual bigger groups, for some odd reason, loves high school drama and wants to bring it in, and it's just one of those, why the hell do you bring this? Just go ahead and leave.
Probably another thing that it's a little bit more relatable for is he was just an ordinary boy. He was in high school, for crying out loud, when he started even like hitting the punching bag. Like he hit it once, and then that was pretty much it. He wasn't born talented. He wasn't born with a boxing dad. All he basically did was ran a fishing business. He wasn't like insanely talented. All he did was hard work, and that was like. They even bring it up in the show a little bit. It's like it's amazing to see such a boy plow through these people that were raised with such talent and raised from day one learning to box, and to see a normal person being able to go through these challenges just through hard work and sheer effort alone was very relatable and pretty cool.
So for it being really relatable, especially to you, especially from your upcoming and what you've gone through, especially since you picked up boxing for a year or so.
Yeah, maybe half
a year. So for this one, it really hit home with you, the fact of the similar scenario what he went through and just life scenarios.
A little bit. I was never known for anything athletically, and this anime is actually what kind of got me interested in boxing. But I grew up on a farm pretty much all my life, and a little bit into high school, I actually started track and field, and I became one of the faster people in Texas, and it was actually pretty cool. And I was not raised from day one on the track, but I kind of busted my ass, so.
I mean, I guess that's the beauty of animes like this. It shows you never have to actually to be born into or have to force to do it from day one.
It's something seeing his.
It's as long as you pick it up and start putting dedication to it and working towards it, you can grow from anywhere.
Yeah, and seeing his life basically, and like the way he does it, that's something that's like really admirable in my opinion. So,
well, is there anything else you would like to add for this show? I again haven't watched it, haven't really looked into it, and so I'm not an expert when it comes to Ippo.
I mean, we for the most part stayed a little spoiler free on this, apart from the very beginning, which the beginnings I didn't even really explain it that well in my opinion. It's like more honestly honestly, you'd probably forget it within the week or something. And like if you watched it, then you'd probably see it there. But the anime is not terribly far. But if you watch the manga after, the manga's like super watchable. It's or readable. You don't watch manga.
Yeah.
I
mean, you can watch it for the pictures.
you
But that's
have
about
a
it.
slideshow.
I mean, you got slideshows and stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah. The manga's not bad if you want to read that. If you ever catch up on this anime. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The manga does go very far. The manga, I think, is almost want to say longer or as long as One Piece. So it's
Dang, I never expected that.
It's been running since early '90s.
That's a unexpected
one
for me.
Also, if you do catch up, be warned. It's the hiatus and how long each chapter comes out for is undetermined.
Well, before we get into our next section of anime or our next topic of anime, I would have to say I guess I'm sorry. I guess due to the fact that me and Mark here are the only two ones here. We continue on a schedule. It's gonna be Tuesdays every other night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so continue on that schedule. We had a few people tonight that would have loved to showed up, but had other plans already.
It was also terribly stormy here.
Yes, and there's also all these storms coming in our area, and so it's very
tornadic weather, actually.
Yes, and so I apologize for anything since it sounds like a one-sided or two-sided conversation, and that in reality, it actually is due to the fact that we're the only ones here, really, and we're just giving our opinions and doing everything.
It's good.
But
I didn't know. I completely forgot you were streaming over there. So whenever I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But we do have a guest here tonight just to talk about Demon Slayer. Mark, if you would like to do the introductions while I transcend into the next picture.
So this is Tyler, guys. He's staying the night for a couple nights. Whoa, low quality.
I'm sorry.
It's very low quality.
Again, I got these pictures off of Google, so it was very last minute.
Okay.
I was not prepared for tonight as much as I thought it would be.
But this is Tyler. He's staying here for a couple nights. So, want to introduce yourself or whatever?
What's up?
Yeah.
I mean,
So that'll be Tyler's voice. So this anime started somewhat recently. The anime itself didn't. The manga has been in production since I think 2014.
I have no idea.
I might be wrong on that. 2016, and it's by the animation company right now that's working for, which is why a lot of people liked it and started watching it. Is Futobu, I believe, is the pronunciation on it.
I'm not sure, to be completely honest.
Yeah, but the animation of this anime is absolutely gorgeous. And it started in February of 2019 this year. So we're not too far in, but man, it is it's pretty crazy and hype so far.
nuts.
It's really good. Now be warned, spoilers.
Very much spoilers.
Ufotable. Okay, I was a little far off. UFO table.
When you first got into this, what was your first thoughts? Like, that first episode it pulls up of just
I want to
him,
know about the guy.
just of him walking away and then coming back, and then he smells the blood. Like, what was that? Like, when you first heard him like say or read, if you watch subbed,
The scent.
yeah, if he starts talking about the scent, like, how did y'all feel about it? Like, to me, I was like, holy shit, how can someone smell that good? Like, I was like, can I get that scent smeller? Like, shit.
I don't know. I had seen that, and my first thought was like there's definitely other scents out there that you probably wouldn't want to smell. That, like, I'm sure you got some things that you don't want to smell.
That's definitely
true. So it's it's both the best thing and a curse.
I mean, and this is probably going to come up with a very negative view. I'm curious what the smell of was when his mom and dad were very romanticizing their love. If he could smell it, that is.
I mean, probably their cabin house was not that big. I'm thinking maybe they had a fire in the middle room, and the rooms are on both sides of the house, maybe. So
something like that.
Maybe helped.
Another good thing I was wondering is like, what's the big backstory about his dad?
That is a very good question.
Now we will
Because
never know.
the dad really was never around
Yeah.
in the show, was he?
Yeah, he was never there. I don't think he was really mentioned much either. So it's like,
You know, it'd be an interesting like twist in the story if his sensei was his dad. Like that'd be like I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, no.
But that'd be hilarious.
yeah,
in my
because
opinion,
they both smell. So.
Exactly. They have
Yeah.
both similar traits, especially the guy that sent him to him was like, he smells just like you. Train him.
That's true. Or maybe it's like his grandpa or some crazy thing like that.
I mean, you never know. They can pull some crazy shit if they play their cards right.
That's true. Like, definitely, definitely seen that here recently. What just happened?
Yes.
I'm probably in love with. So firstly, I think it's the end of the first episode or the second, or yeah, maybe the second episode. The dude from the Demon Slayer corpse with the sword that basically cuts the forest in half was he is super sick, and I want to know more about him.
Giyu Tomioka.
Sure.
Giyu. Just call him Giyu, because that's how he was pronounced in the show.
Yeah.
I can't
Giyu.
pronounce his last name. I'm complete garbage.
But he's super sick, and I want to know what the hell he's doing in the Demon Slayer Corps for our main boy, the main character, to find the Demon Lord himself. So...
I was kind of surprised that he found him so early.
So easily, too. He's just chilling
Yeah.
in fucking Tokyo or some shit.
Yeah, I was just like, he was like, he immediately completely left Nezuko and everything, and I was just
That,
like,
oh my god.
What's y'all's opinions on Nezuko?
I love her.
Nezuko is the best character.
Absolutely.
No matter
like
what,
her.
best character in the series, manga, everything.
She's so great. She fucking like they even touch they touch him and she just like she kicks open the box and then she kicks some ass and I love it. Not to mention whenever she's in the background and like she gets chibi animated or whatever.
Yes,
that's right.
So cute.
She's so adorable.
That's how they perfect. That's how they perfect her. For
I
sure.
and they saved money on it too. But when they did that, they created such a beautiful thing.
It's where you throw in a flawless victory.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Not to mention she's mood as fuck. Whenever she's just like she's on the bed or whatever or on the floor and she's just staring at the ceiling with the little dot eyes.
Yeah,
that's mood.
One thing I really do love is when they're fighting Giyu and he's like, she's a demon. She'll never be able to like be helpful or anything like that. He's trying to kill her, and then like Tanjiro fucking saves her, and then Nezuko is just like, bitch, you're trying to kill my brother? Fuck you. I will kill you.
Yeah.
Well, and like it becomes very protective, like in a quick instant, like becomes very protective, even though she literally just tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting though, is actually with like how strong she is from what she does. Like,
right?
She gets her strength from
For
sleeping.
sleeping. Dude,
Sleeping.
I would
That
love...
is completely relatable.
Can I get that power? I want that power. Like, oh my god, if that was a power you could have, Lord, give it to me.
So, can we just touch on the fact that, firstly, demons get power from sucking blood, but apparently they can also get the power from sleeping.
Well, here's the thing. It's a mutation. If you watch it
Yeah,
carefully,
yeah.
if you watch it carefully enough, it's like his sensei talks about how every demon, if they get powerful enough, they mutate into something else, and they get this mutational power.
No, that's probably what a lot of demons are seeking instead of the just casual sleeping.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
but that's killing.
And see, the thing is like basically she did something that nobody else had expected. because she essentially found the loophole.
Yeah. And a lot of people were amazed by that too. I think the sensei of Tanjiro was actually really impressed.
Sakanji Yorokodaki.
That's not happening.
That's
He's
not
gonna be
happening.
sensei.
His sensei
Yeah,
is
let's
the
go
way. But yeah, his sensei, especially with I personally love how his sensei was so like the episodes when he was training Tanjiro all the way to the point when he got back, and then Tanjiro was like, "Yeah, I forgot to mention, someone like your students say hi," and then his face was like, once I saw the episode, whenever his former students like showed up in the forest, I knew from that instant, they're either dead, or they're haunting him.
That's exactly
And I'm just
what I
sitting there,
thought.
I'm like, oh God, why? What's going on? Like, why are you doing this to him? Like, what special? And then they literally clear up saying like, especially after he destroys the rock and he leaves, and then all the spirits are there, and the one kid that kept training him was like, he did something I could never do. He split the rock.
Well, I love the symbolism that they did, where it was like whenever he split the mask, it was like him splitting the mask.
It was.
Splitting the rock.
It was. I
so
love that.
good.
Once he did that, I was like, once I saw that in the show, I was like, he split the rock. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He was the rock. That kid was the rock. He symbolized the rock. Like
That's
no,
what
like
the,
no joke.
The
Like
things were around the rock, in my opinion. I think that was like.
all the little
Something that they,
talismans
like,
they were
inhabited,
hanged.
Yeah.
But one thing that I saw brought up in some fan chat was, it was talking about how his sensei must have felt after learning that all his students that went and died are in his forest and protecting him.
Yeah.
Like that just feels like that sounds really sad. Like it sounds sad that that's how it has to happen, but at the same time, you somewhat feel like cheerful and stuff. Like they love him so much, they don't want to pass on, but they're protecting him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I like it because it's like the sensei is really. He seems like a really like kind of not a cool guy, but like when
He
you
seems like
actually
an asshole?
Yeah, he's actually really loving and stuff, and I think that's super cool. Like he's such a good figure and everything.
I mean, especially whenever he talks about my favorite part was one of my favorite parts was when he was praying that Tanjiro makes it back.
Right.
And Tanjiro's just like, once he learned that the one demon up on the hill killed all his students, and he realizes those were all spirits. And not only does he overcome and fight for his sensei, but all the kids that this demon killed. Even though he had all that hatred and killed the demon, he knows the demon was still sad and like was agonizing in pain, and then came over and like grabbed his hand and was like, "Don't worry, I'm here."
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Tanjiro,
he's really sympathetic. Like he's sympathetic but strong at the same time. Like he doesn't let his emotions truly overcome like some other animes that you'd see would happen.
Mm-hmm.
He actually
Except for that
like,
one time.
well, yeah, true. But he's like he's more controlling of his emotions.
Yeah,
than it would
it
seem.
happens more.
And a lot of times when he's more controlling of his emotions, he's also more likely to get hit. You see that especially when he's fighting the three demons in the swamp.
But he learned from it, and I like that.
He did learn from it, and that's a great way to show character growth, and I love it.
Right? Yeah, because it's like they actually bring you in with the character growth a lot, and it's really cool how they do it.
And one of the best parts is it's not a typical, at least for me, it's not a typical anime where, because a lot of my shows that I watch the ones where they get transferred to a world or something, or they go fantasy wise.
Yeah, the isekai.
Isekai.
Mm-hmm.
This one's not.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I love it. Because it has all those same elements, but it's not an isekai.
And I like the like modern era, or not the modern era,
The Seville, like...
the older era type.
So the era that it's taking place, it's after... So from what I'm seeing from like after all the episodes I've watched, because I'm caught up, it seems like this era that they're in is after the Shogun Imperial Civil War,
Yeah.
but not. But at the same time, it's not because there's no firearms to speak of that you see even in the city life.
Yeah, and I like that.
Yeah, it's very westernized in this city life, which is very weird to me.
Yeah, it really is.
It's taking that time frame where guns should be invented, but they're not there.
Yeah, because it's like, it's one of those things where it's, there's other problems probably, where it's like, guns aren't really necessarily needed, maybe, or it's just, there's other ways of dealing with things.
Which that might be the case, but if you look at the time frame, they should have a group of soldiers just hanging around, making sure no shogunate, no one from the shogunate time frame or shogunate systems are trying to do an uprising even after they were defeated.
Well, it was like whenever we saw the military, or not the military, the police force that had come in, whenever they were in the city and everything.
And then the demon was getting transformed, yes.
Yeah. So it's like them, they didn't really, I think all they had was batons or something like that, didn't they? And that was it.
But even back then, I mean, the way their baton, like, I didn't really get a good look, but I don't think their batons were really the batons from that time frame.
Yeah, and
it's really weird
because it's like, you know, they didn't have any type of other lethal weapons or anything like that. It was just the batons and everything. And it seemed like the police force wasn't really a big factor. It was like, you know, they're in this era and stuff like that where it seems like there's a lot of fighting and conflict. But
especially seeing when he had his sword, everyone was like, what is this kid doing? He's a kid, has his sword, and holding this guy down. What is going on? Like, everyone was so, like, confused, like, as if no one in the world needed a sword or even held a sword anymore. Like, that was an ancient history tradition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yet, in the other towns he was in, no one questioned it because it seemed like it was a normal thing on the countryside. Mm-hmm. So, what's the, like, I'm just trying to, like, figure out the difference between the city life versus the country. Mm-hmm. I mean, even today in history, like, if you look at the city life versus country life down in the south, country life, you're going to see a lot more shotguns, rifles, pistols, and people, rednecks, going out and shooting. In the city, you see similar to that, but you don't see them, like, going out shooting because it's a city life unless they go to a range. In the country, they're like, hey, let's go to my grandpa's barn and we're going to go shoot.
But it seems more safe in the country, typically.
It does.
Well,
but it seems like
well, yeah, but it's like it's a different threat than
especially in the show. It seems like the demons that are in the country aren't that big of an issue, and they're not that. They don't have all the mutations that he has, and all the ones in the city has.
Yeah, it's really weird with the demons because it's like there's quite a few people like you'll have. It didn't really seem like anybody in the city knew about demons, but there was definitely people out in the country that knew about like demon slayers and stuff like that, and demons and everything. But it seems like the city life is kind of isolated almost.
I mean, at the same time, it could almost be to the fact that if you look at the two environments, even today's history and today's reality, you have folk tales and stuff that are transformed. In the city, it's usually just like, oh, that's an old folk tale. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
But in the country, it's like, oh man, like that's like a one that comes up a lot, especially down towards Mexico area, is the chupacabra.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like if you look in the States, everyone's like, that's just an old Mexican tale. But in Mexico, that might be how I looked at it. But if you look at the countryside, it's like the chupacabra is a thing.
Yeah.
It's
like I know people that believe in it. To me, I do too. To my own personal reasonings, I won't get into that because that's completely off topic. But yeah, so stuff like that, like myths and legends, and it's almost one of those things where you have to try to like decipher if a myth if the myth and legend is based on truth or if it's just a big old folktale. But at the same time, like even if you tell a lie, every lie has a bit of truth. That's what makes it the perfect lie. Well, I mean, because think about it. If you give a big tale and you don't give a hint of truth into it, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, shut up! You're giving me bullshit." But if you give like that, like if you tell a lie and you say like a tall tale and you start giving out specific details and stuff like that that actually is truthful, and then you add like a little bit of a twist to it, everyone's more inclined to actually take it as reality. Even though they're like, I'll take it for granted. Like, I'll take a grain of salt to it due to the fact, like, you're telling me the story.
But it's altered a little bit.
But it's still, I can't say 100% that's wrong.
True. Okay.
So I'm wondering if that's how it is with the city and country life in the show as well. If it's like legends and all this stuff. I mean, because even...
I think I actually remember off the first episode
because the old guy
explained, or
well,
no,
not the sensei,
the old guy in that house explaining.
Because he talks about how it's the legend and stuff like that, and he's like, okay.
Yeah,
and Tanjiro
on his way back home the next morning.
And he's like, the demons. I remember him saying about that. The demons. Oh my god.
But it's really what really makes me wonder though is like. What would have happened if he'd have gone home that night? Like, if he hadn't stopped, and stayed the night there. Like, how would this, like...
Yeah, me too.
It would have ended right there, right? Or something. Or maybe he would have, something else would have happened. Mm-hmm. But it's like, who all was technically there, right? Because it's like, there's the one demon, that transforms.
I think he had was his dad there?
His dad was never around.
Yeah, his dad was never there.
His dad was almost a legend himself, like... He talked about his father, but then, like, in the first episode, because he was talking about how, since his dad's not there, he has to take up the role and take care of him, and then his mom was taking care, and he's like, me and Nezuko, were pretty much almost like a father and mother figure as well.
And I wonder, I hope not, I for sure hope this anime doesn't pull the string where it's like, oh, the dad was the demon lord all along.
Right.
I would be so fucking pissed. I don't think they're going to.
Well, wait. Okay, wasn't
doing.
there? Remember whenever he first found the demon lord, right? I think it may have been the episode afterwards. But it noticed he had a flashback, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically to a previous fight that he had before, which made him scared of Tanjiro. So it's like, who is that person?
Do you think the person that gave him the scar could have been his dad?
if you look at the way he looks at it, the flashback, the guy has a goblin mask.
Right, but it's like...
Who's the only one that we know in the show has a goblin mask?
But
because we know his sensei, everyone he's taught except Tanjiro has died.
Right? But how do we know
could have been his dad that was trained by him.
Yeah. Well, how do we know his dad didn't maybe train him or something like that? I mean, it's just like, we don't really know the characters until they're like truly introduced.
One of the things is...
said who's done what.
What if Tanjiro's dad was one of the people he did train and died?
Yeah, probably.
But he never talked about it. But he died to the demon on the hill. But their sensei was the one that gave him the scar. There's so many scenarios that could happen because, and that almost could make sense why those kids came out and trained Tanjiro because, like, the father was like, "Hey, this is my kid. I can't go out there, but I want someone to train him."
But I don't think his dad has been dead for
that long. Because keep in mind, because they were all kids technically, right? So his dad technically wouldn't have been there.
That's very true. So it really does beg the question: where is his dad?
Yeah. Right? It's like,
what's happening?
I don't think they've said anything about whether he's dead or alive. So,
they haven't. They really haven't.
So he's really like kind of in a dead zone right now. Like where
he is, and the greatest question is: are they gonna pull a Star Wars moment out of this? Like, is that not like the question you are thinking? Like, will they pull a Star Wars moment, or will it come up later that his dad's someone else?
Mm-hmm. That's true. Be one of the biggest plot twists, just like the last episode. That was a pretty.
I'd be so mad.
Oh man, the last episode, I feel sorry for those kids. And the newest episode, those kids I feel so sorry for. Like,
That was really funny.
my
Like,
question is, what's up with the
The
kid
bull
with...
ass dude?
No, not him. Him, I personally enjoy due to the fact that he has the dual swords that have like...
I love it.
Like,
That's
he's
so
a
weird.
cool looking kid. But no, the kid that does the electricity and stuff.
Oh, like
he,
Sleeping dude?
Yeah.
yeah,
Dad.
he cries like a bitch.
But
But
when
then-
he falls asleep,
but he
becomes
falls
a
asleep
badass.
and like-
It's essentially drunk boxing. That's essentially what
Yeah,
it is.
drunk fist.
What is
or
this?
whatever.
Drunk Kung Fu? What is he, Jackie Chan?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm
this-
warning you now, you may get spoiled.
For what?
Demon Slayer.
I don't care about it. So good.
I thought you did.
No.
What?
It's one of those I refuse to watch. Everyone else watches. So.
but
It's so good.
it's one of those. What's their plan with this show? I see so many possibilities and so many possible futures for the show. And I'm excited. It brings excitement to
Yeah,
me because
right.
it's just one of those. There's so many possibilities and so many ways they can go about this with the writing, but which way are they doing it?
See, I'm really wondering, like, with some of the character development. Because, like, one of the things that I'm wondering is, you know, the one with the lightning or whatever, like, I wonder how he was trained. Because, I mean, he
Same.
fights while he's
That's
asleep, right?
interesting.
So how is he trained?
I
Did he
mean-
just dream all the training or what?
But here's the
Well,
thing.
it's not actually said that he was. I mean, obviously he's trained because while he's asleep, he's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
But you don't have to be trained to be sent off to that
true.
that thing.
And remember, he didn't really fight the demons up on that hill. Tanjiro killed most of those demons trying to
Well,
find
there was
answers.
quite a few. There
There
quite a
was, but he killed a lot of those demons and saved a few of their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that begs the question: did he ever really fight a demon, and is that why he's so fucking scared?
Well, I mean, keep in mind, he didn't remember that he
yeah,
fights them. Like, whenever he goes to sleep and he kills them, or whatever, he doesn't remember fighting them.
Which also begs the question: why? Why does he have a sparrow as the bird?
Because
because
who
it's
knows?
a weaker bird.
Well, yes, but if you at the same time, it's a bird that can't talk, yet the crows can,
Well, it's funny because
and
it's like...
Tanjiro
Oh,
can
yeah.
understand it.
Yeah, but it's also quieter. Did you notice that? The sparrow's also quieter than the crows.
God,
And
the
you
crows
know-
are so fucking loud.
You
and
notice
annoying.
him? He actually has to do with hearing, not smelling.
That's
Oh,
very
yeah.
true. Which I'm really curious how they're gonna do that because he's like, "Don't you hear that? Don't you hear that?" He's freaking out, and Tanjiro's like,
Hear what?
"What? What are you talking about? I don't hear shit."
I thought that was kind of nifty how they
Mhm.
implemented the
Giving him
different
hearing.
senses.
Yeah. And I imagine the hog mask dude probably has some other sense, or maybe I'm thinking on him it might just be like instinct or something.
Yeah, that could be it. It's like an instinct. Because
The
I mean,
sixth sense.
his fighting style, it was self-taught, as they say.
Yeah, because like the way, but at the same time, I mean, one of my favorite moments. I don't know about y'all, was whenever when he fought that big demon in the house and used both swords to cut off the arms. Is like, bitch, you're dead. It just decapitates him like fucking Star Wars styles, dual sword and wham, decapitation.
Well, I honestly thought it was kind of funny because, like, I didn't expect that's how he was gonna kill him. Because, like, with how the blades were, I thought he was gonna it was gonna be more of like a shredding type style,
Right.
But it was just a quick slash, and
I,
that was it.
but that's the way he does it. Like if you pay attention to the way he was talking to Tanjiro, he was like saying, "I'll be enjoying the cutting,
yeah,
like
he
cutting
said-
you
he says,
and cutting your flesh." But whenever he actually gets annoyed, he goes for the quick kill.
But remember, he had talked about because he's like, "Oh, you're bigger. I'm gonna have much more fun cutting you up and everything."
But then
So it's
at the
like-
same time, he pissed him off,
that's true.
and so it's one of those. He did get the pleasure of cutting him, which was the arms like, "Bitch, you shouldn't talk down to me," and then is like, "I'm gonna finish you off. Like you're a piece of shit."
That's true.
So, I mean, there's multiple ways, which I'm curious, since in most of the pictures that you see with Demon Slayer shows all three of them and Nezuko all in the same working together. Which
Right.
begs the question, what does he bring to the table? which we've already somewhat talked about, which, like Mark said earlier, could it be just the brute force and animal instincts?
Yeah, and see, another thing I'm wondering is there's the other two characters that we had seen at the beginning. There was the girl and the other, like, the darker dude.
The people that made it.
Yeah, there was...
Yeah, the dark dude that was a complete
Asshole?
Yeah, he was all, like, I'm the best and stuff like that, essentially.
In my honest opinion, I feel like he's gonna die in one of the episodes, just
Good.
because.
Good.
Watch him do something like where he ends up turning into a demon.
Or he turns into a demon. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, like he's gonna come across the thing where it's like Tanjiro. He's gonna find out Tanjiro's better or something like that. He's gonna want revenge or something.
Some weird anime cliche.
Yeah, and then there's the chick. Who knows? Maybe she won't get introduced again. Or something.
I'm not sure about y'all, but those twins from the Demon Slayer trial really creeped me the fuck out.
I mean, yeah, they're spirits. Yeah, at least that's my thought on it.
But they seemed so robotic.
They were kind of adorable though.
No, they were creepy.
I thought they were kind of adorable.
In what sense were they adorable?
I don't know. I just thought they were kind of adorable. It's just
They were creepy looking, like all the way around.
I don't know.
And even like, I don't understand why Tanjiro even like protected him when that one kid was getting annoyed.
It's Tanjiro. What?
I mean, fair point. Tanjiro's like if you brought Tanjiro in our world, like he'd be like the guy who was the nicest one in the world that the girls always talk about but never date.
Right?
Because he's too nice.
Well, like, I mean,
he's
you
too
saw
nice.
whenever he fought the one demon that killed everybody. You know, he cared for him. You know,
I know. Which I was sitting there, I was like, "Way to go, my man!" Like I was like, "Oh, here we go." Gets the kill, and then he's like,
he has
that soft heart, and I looked at it, I was like,
he's gonna
oh
stay
my
single
God,
just because he's got a cyst complex.
I don't think he has a sister complex.
He's kind of got a sister complex.
No, I think that's more. She's the last bit of family he has left, and so he doesn't want her to turn into the things that he's killing.
True.
So I feel like it's one of those things. He's not gonna find someone until he can make sure that she's safe.
Yeah.
And
but whenever he does go to find someone, I'm sure it'll be easy for him.
It'll definitely be probably someone similar.
Use that good old water breathing technique.
Right.
Which I think that was another interesting thing is I noticed there was a lot of the like with the sword fighting, it's the breathing techniques.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that was something that we didn't even really get to see be taught on screen.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to both where that originated from, and two.
JoJo, thank you. I'm breathing. Come on.
But also like the other people in the Demon Slayer Corps use it because we don't know what they do yet, and I know a few of them. I think there's the dude that Tanjiro met at the very beginning, which leads the corps, I believe, and then there's a couple others that are like very high on the food chain, so to speak. And it would be neat to see how they use the breathing techniques.
Yeah, because I wonder like how many different techniques there would be though. Because you know you've got the water breathing, there's the lightning breathing, and then there's the what was it? Animal breathing, I think is what he said. That's the boarhead guy. So you definitely got a bunch of different styles.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of styles, the swords, the way they're created, and like the type of
that's cool.
So
neat.
So I watched a video talking about the different swords, and they went to the anime and a little bit more further in depth. Or sorry, the manga, which was further ahead. And so like they said in the show, the people who wear bear the black swords are misunderstood and die a lot, but that's not necessarily the case. Due to the fact, the reason why it's black is because they are the true red. Like their true color is red, but the reason for it is because until you get the way they were going about it was until you get a hot coal like on fire and like burnt up and burning, it's black. You see it as black until you start burning it. like even the bags you buy for charcoal, they're black charcoal. But once you start burning them and like heating them up and getting them going, then you start seeing that like crimson red. So that's one of the things that it was going into.
Well, yeah,
was
see, that's what I was
since he's
wondering.
a charcoal and fire, because a lot of the times you get the crimson red because they have something to do with their childhood of being something with fire. Since he was a charcoal person and burned charcoal, he is a crimson red. But until he gets heated up in battle, it will stay black, and then afterwards it will show his true colors of the crimson red.
See, yeah, I was wondering if maybe the sword has something to do with like it has some sort of color change.
It does.
Yeah.
Like it's essentially concealing his power.
It's someone is, and it's especially gonna be interesting seeing the difference, because when you see fire, you don't expect it to work with water, and especially since he has all the water breathing techniques. How's that gonna affect? Since he's a fire, like his aspect is fire, but his techniques are water.
Yeah. Well, that's the fire part, at least so far as a theory.
Yeah.
I think
Theory-
it's gonna be good.
Theory, no. Manga says otherwise.
Okay. Well,
There's
that's
spoilers in the manga,
well,
and
like,
that's it's the theory is why it's like that.
okay.
But in the manga, it does want. There's a battle in the manga that happens, which I'm assuming is going to be coming up here soon, especially the way it's been turning out.
Where he basically
Where
awakens.
he unleashes everything because something happens and it sparks a nerve in him where like his emotions start taking over, and so it releases his true power.
Yeah.
In a sense.
And see, what I'm kind of wondering now, whenever you mention that, is the latest episode. It's like, where's Nezuko?
That is very true. Nezuko's still on the outside of the
Yeah.
house.
That bugs me.
She kind of
so
got
much.
left behind, so it's like, where's Nezuko? And I think it was daylight at the time, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah,
very
so-
much
so
daylight.
that's why
But
she's
that's
just-
why he put her in the shade next to the kids.
Yeah.
Saying,
But-
if you get scared, open this.
Yeah. So, it's like, I'm sure as the story's going on right now, it's obviously getting darker. So we're kind of waiting for Nezuko to probably make an appearance at some point.
I mean, we'll find out in the future. I can't wait for the next few episodes. Like,
I wonder if Nezuko will develop any of the Diva Blood arts, you know? Like, because you know
that's
how they
very
age-
true, especially since she sleeps instead of eats.
Yeah, because essentially she's just super hella strong. Because, like, I remember, you know, with the one fight with the, crap, I don't remember what that ball game was.
Oh yes, with the girl with the 4 arm or the 6 arms, I should say,
Yeah.
that throws the balls and
Yeah.
so yeah.
It was like, you're not supposed to kick them, and then she ends up, like, completely mind-blowing everybody. So it's like, her
Well, no,
Bruce-
if you remember, she does lose her leg first.
Well, yeah, she loses it first,
And
but
then-
she learns from it.
No, she learns from it, but she gets healed first.
Yeah.
And a lot of her power from regeneration, because it shows the sleeping doesn't regenerate as quickly. So she's more human, in a sense,
Yeah.
from sleeping.
But she's also stronger.
But she is stronger. Which is really intriguing. Like, how they're going to do this is very interesting.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I was kind of sitting there wondering if maybe she gets some sort of crazy demon arts, or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's just brute strengthening everything. Just saying, screw you guys.
I'm just curious how they're going to take this, because I see such good
It's definitely
storyline.
progressing
I see
good.
such good storylines in the future. I'm curious which storyline they're gonna take. I'm really intrigued on the very next.
Yeah, they're. What was actually interesting? Okay, so the story was progressing pretty good, and then the fact that they introduced just 2 brand new characters essentially right there.
Oh,
In
yeah.
one episode.
That's pretty wild.
I'm honestly curious if the kids are gonna be a part of anything either, because they could almost be the next pupils for him
Well,
in
yeah,
the future if that ever happens.
Yeah, that's essentially what they are. I just thought it was kind of, interesting because it's like, usually you introduce one character and you develop their storyline, to introduce them.
Especially
But no, they just
knowing,
showed two.
the first character that they introduce is crying to a woman and begging her to marry him.
Right.
And he's like, shut the hell up. And she comes
Relatable.
back, slaps the shit out of him, is like, I am engaged, bitch. Leave me alone. So,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, sure, I guess. Definitely not in reality. Don't do that, please.
Yeah. Put a big old or put the big old bold letters. I do not recommend doing this at home.
Do not try this at home, kids. You will break your hearts or go to jail.
Yeah, probably go to end up in jail.
No, I'll probably just get a what is it called? What is it called? It's a what are they called? Restraints.
Oh, a restraint order.
Yes, those. You'll probably just get a few restraint orders throughout your life if you keep doing that.
Yeah.
And if it gets serious enough, then you might get something more extreme.
What are you in prison for? Loneliness.
Right?
That's essentially what it would be for.
So, I'm not sure if there's anything else to cover with Demon Slayer.
No,
I don't
I mean,
think
essentially, it's just really good story development. Surprising. It kind of surprised me with the story development. I think it was pretty good.
And I can't wait for more. I know I can't stress this enough.
Yeah,
I'm
'Cause,
excited.
Like, me, when I first started watching it, it was definitely like what caught my attention more so was the art style. It was really, it had a more like colorful palette than most other ones, and it was a smoother animation and everything. So that's kind of what kept me started with it, and I didn't realize it would actually develop as good as it was.
That is very true. And I know when I first started watching it, it took me a while to get to actually watch it. Because I had similar feelings to watch it as I did with Blue Exorcist. Now it's not the same as it.
Well, no.
But I'm sitting there thinking, oh god, is this something I should watch?
Mm.
See,
I felt like this progressed way faster than Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, it progressed it good because it's like even though they sped up the character, like the main character, they actually didn't do it bad. They did it pretty well.
Like I felt I didn't finish Blue Exorcist because I think I had watched about 16 or 17 episodes.
I'm up to date with Blue Exorcist. I can't wait for season 3. I personally still love it. It's still a great show, but that's off topic.
Yeah, I think I watched 16 or 17 episodes roughly, and it felt like it had just stayed in place for so much of it, which is, and I did feel a similar vibe coming from Demon Slayer, but it felt like I started the episode and it hooked me, and it's been it kept a good pace. So
yeah, I definitely love it more so due to the art style because it's one of those better ones. It's
the art style is definitely a good.
It's definitely been given more effort than some.
thanks, Affordable.
So, as much as we could continue talking about Demon Slayer, and as much as we can talk about the next topic we're going to be going into,
Well,
and the last topic we'll be going into,
you can talk about that one.
I could talk about this for
I can't say much.
days on end. And according to some people I know, and after watching the movie, or one of the movies,
you've watched this.
I watched it at the theater.
I was told that after 2 hours explaining, he felt like he's seen entire season, second entire season, and the movie within a matter of 2 hours, because how much I explained in detail.
Ugh.
And if you guys don't remember, is Sword Art Online. So the picture that I'm showing is from season 3. I can't pronounce it. The Alization arc.
I usually say elicitation or something.
Elicitation.
Like that.
Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. I'm a weeboo who doesn't know shit. Sure.
I don't feel like you can.
What?
Whatever.
Put it into Google Trends and see what it tells
You don't think I could? You don't think I could call myself a weeboo?
If you can't pronounce it.
Fair enough. This picture comes from zerochan.net. So that's the only shout out I really got right now. Sorry for that, guys.
So bad.
I'm a horrible podcaster, I guess you could say. I don't give a fuck because fuck it.
Need to give fucks.
I will give fucks once we actually improve and start
Are you familiar
getting
with
everything.
this topic? The
SAO?
SAO.
Yes.
So,
Sadly.
hey, don't say sadly.
Okay.
This is a great
okay,
story.
I'm just saying. Listen.
Step away.
First season, beginning was okay. You know, halfway through
Okay,
the first season was
so-
good. Second season, it kind of went to shit.
Okay,
It
let
did.
me explain the second half of season 1, or the second arc, as we should say, because that's how we see it, right? You're talking about you're breaking up seasons based on Ironclad, Alfheim, GGO, and back to Alfheim. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking about that, that's 4 seasons. In between season 2 and 3, we have a movie on how we're talking about Sugura is talking to Liz, Silica, and Asuna talking about how they all met Kirigaya in Ironclad, and that's how in season 3, GGO, you get how they all become close, because that's the transition.
Yeah, it's the last
Then-
characters introduced us.
Yeah, and then after season 3 and 4, we get the movie, Cardinal Scale.
Yeah, which
And
I
then-
will admit, okay.
And after Cardinal Scale, that transitions to the newest season.
Yeah, the
which-
movie was okay.
Oh my god, you better not say that.
Listen, I think it was good, but it was like, it took, I don't know. I definitely feel like Sword Art Online could have gone better. It could have progressed. It could have progressed.
I think
so
it had
much.
potential.
It
Okay.
had,
They fucked
yes,
up.
it had potential, but it just they took it about really wrong.
So,
That's what I said.
Sword Art Online, you have to remember how old the guy was when he created this. He was still a kid when he created the first few seasons.
Yeah.
And then they turned into an anime, and so he continued writing. I mean, even if you look at the way that it's spoken in Ironclad, you can tell a kid wrote it. And it's just it's almost like a fan fiction type style, where it's the main character starts getting all the girls, and then, like, the best friend doesn't get shit but wants the girls. And it's very, very cheesy.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. The last season was, I think they improved it. They definitely improved it compared to the previous ones.
But here's the thing. So they had Ironclad, which was a great storyline by itself. But to continue it, they had to make a more in-depth storyline with Alpine Line. They got it where Asuna wasn't trapped and he had to go back and save her. So Ironclad wasn't really over, which is why in most areas you go to find and watch SAO, they have that as one season. But if you look at it, I know everyone cringed with Alfheim due to the fact that Suguro, I can't pronounce her name, but the so-called cousin is supposedly a cousin or sister. Now, if you look at the translations and stuff, it never really says that. Even when the mom, her mom comes in and it shows the back flash to when they're in the hospital room and he's still under. She says, he found out at a young age I was not his real mom, and this was not his real family.
There we go.
So she quickly came up with a story to say, "Oh, that was my sister. I'm your mom's sister, and so I took you in." So there's no technical proof that actually shows them two related to the very least. So that whole cringiness of her liking him doesn't actually exist. All you know is they grew up together. That's it. There's no blood related. There's no even family ties.
But I mean, he's also with Asuna, so it's like,
Which,
I think-
yes, at the same time, he's with Asuna. And especially with the movie, I love the backflashes. The backflash to Ironclad with Asuna. Oh my god, from the movie. It's glorious, in my opinion. But then you get to Gigi, then you get the filler. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a filler, but it's a good transition between Alfheim to GGO, because it shows you how he gets his job, how Sugura meets everyone, and someone gets along with everyone from Ironclad, and then it transitions to GGO. Now, one thing about GGO that I've been waiting for to happen is towards the end of it. After they figure out who it is, who's the Death Gun, and all this, who's a Laughing Coffin member, might I add, and a very high-ranking Laughing Coffin member. due to the fact, and you know this, and this is a fact, due to the fact that the letter Kirigaya receives at the end when he's talking with Sion and his boss, when he gets the letter, it's showtime, which is known if you look at any of the like Reddit posts or anything that's canon. That's Pose, which is the leader of Laughing Coffins, literally signature line. If something's about to happen, that's his line. And there's a lot of things, and at the same time, I feel like you somewhat know this guy that attacked him because there's a lot of things that go on about you get to meet him before GGO. I've gone back and I've looked at it, and I can't really confirm it nor deny it, but a theory I have is that the guy that plays Death Gun is actually one of the guys that was working with the Laughing Coffin members that did the city murders. And that episode, when the three Laughing Coffin members come out of the woods and tries to kill him, that he's actually the poison dagger guy there with the mask, with the mask on there.
Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about.
Cause it seemed like he knew Kirigaya from multiple occasions.
Yeah, I think
and the way
anybody from Sword Art Online definitely knows Kirigaya.
I mean,
it's like
everyone knows Kirigaya from SAO because one, he defeated the game. Two, he was the known swordsman that soloed, that was a frontliner, and he's the only one that wore black that everyone knew as a beta.
Yeah. Well, they called him a beta as.
Well, yes, but which I find very reluctantly that he took that, even though he knows it's not true and didn't ever try to fight it.
Yeah, he just essentially,
It wasn't even that he did it to try to get fame or anything. He did it because he knew, and it was a last request from Diablo, who died in Floor 1 in Episode 2. He died trying to get the item that you get from killing the boss, which is the midnight cloak, which Kirigaya uses.
Yeah.
Because he asks him, he doesn't even accept the potions that Kirigaya tries to offer in the second episode. He denies all of them, and yet he's told that he's a killer. No, he's not. He literally tells Kirigaya, like, hey, you have to make sure they keep on fighting and that they feel like they can fight. So he does everything he does afterwards to make sure they keep on fighting.
Yeah, because it's like, I guess saying that if this one person can do this, then I'm sure like a bunch of others together can do something.
Well, it's not even that. He took the cheater. He took it as he was the cheater and a beta player to be like, even the people from the beta, even though the guy who died was a beta player, and he never said it, he took that as, I'm going to trash talk them to make these guys feel good, so that they feel like they're even better, so they can feel like they can push forward.
Yeah.
It was very much a manipulation, but it's a very much needed manipulation, in my opinion. Because what if he never did that? What if he didn't put himself as the villain role? What would happen? And there's also an interesting thing I would be intrigued to watch if they redid the entire Ironclad season, but with Kirigaya playing as a villain. Because everything that happened, he could have easily played as a villain and got away with it.
I feel like if Sword Art Online was just SAO, like Sword Art Online, it was just with Ironclad or whatever, I feel like that if they'd have just stuck it with that as a prolonged series, like not just like
go throughout the entire 100 episodes, 100 floors.
Yeah, like essentially they did it like that, and they kept it that way, and they kept the story like good, character development and everything. I feel like the series would have been so much better.
Well,
but they kept switching games, which it was
well,
like it wasn't entirely bad. But
well, the thing with doing the 100 floors is each floor is so repetitive. All that's different is going to be the mobs and the boss.
Yeah.
So they did what they could, which is why the first season was so well done. It's because they jumped through the floors, but they really didn't jump. It was one of those. each floor has its own problems, but you could tell from the background noises that went on.
Yeah, I just think it's like, because you'll see some things with the character development throughout the first season and everything, and you kind of question it. It's like, well, how did this happen, you know? And they didn't really go into detail on things.
I mean, and that's very true, but that's why after season 1 or Ironclad, I think they started going to more complex storytelling. Now, it may not look like it, and it definitely doesn't look like the arcs are connected. But especially after watching the last one, the newest season, everything fell into place. Like, if he didn't continue going after Asuna, they would not continue their relationship. If he never went to GGO, he would never have those contacts. If Asuna never found the people she did in her own arc with the Sleeping Knights, she would never found the courage.
Yeah.
And so there would never be a thing where if something happened to Kirigaya, she would never have the courage to go find him and to go push for it. And even with it, you even learn a bit about Yaiba, which honestly, I've always said Yaiba was literally just misunderstood. Because if something like that happened, I'd be someone in Yaiba's shoes. Because I feel like if I ever created something like that, I'd be like, hey, it's a virtual reality, but it's not only a virtual reality, it's a virtual reality.
Well, I mean, it's like, which I don't know, I'm not sure if I'd want to spoil that part, because it's like, but like the last, like,
Well,
I think it's the last.
spoilers are well known around here right now.
I just didn't know if like, because this one's like, it's the very last episode of the last season. You know, where you see the
And I actually have a theory for that.
I mean, it's very possible that it's him. That it's Kaiba.
Kaiba's dead.
Is he though? Because you don't remember. You saw
He's an afterimage.
the stasis and everything. You remember Kirito, because Kirito was essentially dead.
That is very true.
But remember, Kaiba's
this was
assistant
before.
also
This was
working there.
before all that. Before they actually created that.
Well, how do we know?
Because if you look at the timeline,
Well, even so, it's like there was talk about how this was a project.
Kaiba would have been taken to a prison and would never been allowed out.
Well, because they had mentioned something about how like
The other
they had
patients.
found his body or whatever. You know, they had said he was dead and stuff like that. But even so, he was like, he essentially disappeared. He vanished, right?
He
Well,
did.
then there was Kaiba's assistant that was there and everything, and she was also in the same facility that Kirito was in and stuff. And then you have that.
Well,
one
she was only there because Asuna contacted her, and she was the only way in for Asuna.
But she knew about it.
No, she didn't. She never knew the project.
Well,
She
okay,
knew that
yeah.
there was a project, but didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's
so
true.
and she knew who was with them, and kept saying no. And then Asuna told her story, and she's like, and the only reason she went is to help Asuna.
Yeah,
And
I still
but-
feel like that's probably Kaiba, or somebody like.
So here's my
I mean,
theory.
Who else could it be?
So like I was saying, they had the leader of Poe, the Laughing Coffins, who have not been caught. The only people from Laughing Coffins have been caught were 3 members. The first 2 from Jujutsu, and the third one that causes Kirigaya to be in the state he's in.
Yeah.
So, there's a whole guild still left unchecked. My opinion is that, or my theory is that it's Laughing Coffin. It's all of Laughing Coffin members finally making their move. Since you have from GGO, it's showtime, which was Poe's signature line of saying something's about to go down, but what? You don't know, and it's something you can't stop. Knowing that, especially knowing that they kept in touch afterwards, and knowing that they always wanted to get Kirigaya. If you haven't noticed, even in GGO, he took it personal when he fought Kirigaya. And he's like, you will never know who I am because you won't be able to remember. Because you don't want to remember what you did at SAO. And so that continues, because like you said, everyone knew Kirigaya. But at the same time, everyone that was a player killer wanted him dead. Because he was the ultimate target. If you took him out, you're pretty much you would become famous.
Yeah, because he was essentially the strongest character.
That's the hop.
Because he was the best one out there.
Yeah.
Even Heathcliff had trouble with him. So it's one of those things. If they could kill him, there's literally no one that could stop him.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if that's really the thing now. Because it's like, it's also the fact that Kirigai also has a world seed.
That is very true.
So, I mean, I feel like it's not so much as him being the strongest now and it being a personal agenda. Like, that's one of the big factors, but it's also another thing about, like, he holds power, essentially. He holds power over things that people want, which is the world seed.
But here's another thing, which is he's been working with the government for a while.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I lost my train of thought.
Can't do that on a podcast.
I know I can't. This is bad. So, going into Gun Gale and everything, he fought his way against Laughing Coffin. He's fought many villains, and a lot of people started hating him. Like, he's notorious.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we were never told on what Poe and all his Laughing Coffin members' jobs were in the real world.
Okay,
So you never know what connections they had in their reality outside of the game. So you never know, like, if they were literally spec ops or anything like that. Like, you don't know. Especially because, like, with GGO, it was an American-based company that created the game, and that's why they had all the issues getting the admins and stuff to log on, because different time zones, and they didn't want to work with anyone and all this.
It takes a second.
Yeah.
What really kind of makes this work.
So it also begs the question: who all knows about this project?
Well,
Because that's the main
you did
question.
see, like, at the end of the last season or whatever, you definitely saw there was some sort of enemy fleet or whatever coming in.
Well, that is very true,
It's also getting
and that's how they got into the base. But it really does beg the question: who is it? My personal theory is just saying it's Laughing Coffin, because that's a villain and a group that they have a lot of versatile of use for, because like the ones you see in GGO, they kept their instincts of wanting to kill
Yeah.
and wanting the
It
power.
does take some getting used to. I don't want you to get this.
And that's one thing that he talks about in Alfheim. Like, even Kirigai says in Alfheim to Suzu, if you become something you're not in the virtual world, you eventually will turn into it.
Yeah.
Which
for
is
living
why,
it so long.
exactly, which is why he refused to turn and stop helping his friends. Which is why he became so persistent to helping her and her issues.
I mean, I feel like that's definitely a thing, but it's just like it's really hard to say who's what, like, because it's like the one character I can't remember his name, but it's essentially the scientist on the that where Kirigai is being held right now.
The main scientist or the blonde?
Yeah, the main.
Okay, yeah.
It's like it's hard to tell where he stands. Like, you can't tell if he's good or bad because it's like a different series
But
or
here-
a different season.
so-
Like that. He seems like a good guy. Another one he seems like a bad guy. So it's like
So here's the thing.
it's hard to tell whether
He-
he's a good guy or a bad guy.
Being maxed out on fruit makes your
He's like
product
Kaiba.
faster, it also upgrades all of
Yeah, he's like a
He's neither
neutral-
good nor bad. What he's doing is he's trying to help his own home country. He's trying to help Japan
it. It is a very different
by creating AI that are
every single fucking
malicious
I will defend Mars.
for possible training of their military and police force, and or to use the AI against their foes. So like you said, it's very hard to see where he's staying for. But at the same time, it's one of those. He wants the best for his for his country. But I really don't think he's gonna try to sell it to others. Like Alfheim Online's The King of Thieves villain.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so I guess this is more of a subject change, basically on the story plot. But what would you say would be your favorite season?
my favorite season,
Okay, so when you
I mean,
turn, do you hold the other direction?
without a doubt, I would say season 1 with Ironcrad.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's where all the feelings like hit home when you first watch it. Because, but at the same time, for me, I had feelings for the entire series. I enjoyed every episode I watched, like I said.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick one that wasn't the first episode or first season, it would definitely be a hard call between the Asna's arc where she joins the Sleeping Knights and the movie Cardinal Scale, because the Cardinal Scale, oh my god.
Yeah, see, and I have seen that one in theaters. So
I watched it online, and after I watched it, I was so hyped up from tearing to being pissed to being happy and all these feelings. I literally called one of my friends who I knew wouldn't care about me spoiling the show and stuff. I talked to him for 2 hours straight. One of the first things he told me, Mason, calm down. You're gonna give yourself a heart attack.
well, it's like at the end.
And then-
okay, at the end of the movie, like after the credits and everything, that was where it got interesting.
At which part?
Because
Like-
it was essentially where it introduced into the next season. It introduced the current project.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially. So it's like,
It's still good like it was.
in theaters or whatever, hearing everybody's reaction to that, it was actually quite cool because everybody's just like, oh, everybody's flipping out, thinking it's like, oh crap, something's actually going on. It's like because this project that in the current season right now, this project that's happening has been happening throughout all the seasons.
It has, which
Because
is why he made contact with the Cure guy in the beginning. And like I said, this is why he swapped over to the SEO instant manager to get the information
Yeah.
to start it
Yeah,
and
because
to
it's like,
and to progress it as far as they have become.
and so I mean, he talks about it making a militia type thing, but it's like, is that really what it's for?
In reality, it's, as he said, it might be, but what he really was wanting was it to train their own people against
Yeah.
possibilities, and which is what I think is why he's misunderstood, like Yaiba. But even in the newest season, it gives you more background on Yaiba and how he was misunderstood. He
Yeah.
even for his love of his life, he implanted that fake placebo bomb and called it a bomb just so that they couldn't say she was working with him. Just so she could get out of it.
And
Which-
see, I don't know. It's like me,
If
I
you were
feel
really
like,
a villain, you wouldn't really care. Like, in my opinion.
Whoa.
yeah,
like, especially
well, no,
with-
see, I don't think he was ever really a villain. Like, I will say, like, the approach that he did things, but it was more or less like, it was definitely darker, but he wasn't really a villain because he put himself in the same situation.
Yes and no. He did give himself the never going below green.
Well,
He
it
gave himself
wasn't-
immortality.
Yes. Well, it wasn't so much immortality; it was his shield that it essentially.
No, because even in the episode 13, because episode 14 is whenever it's the end of the world. Episode 13, when Kirigaya and they defeat the Bone Reaper. I don't think that's the name, but it
Oh
might
yeah,
be.
that's the guy. I noticed it. Yeah, okay,
Because
I remember.
he always realized something was strange because he had the fast reflexes, so he could see a little bit faster. And so he noticed against the duel, the shield came a little bit faster than it should have, which would have enacted the immortality tab or box, or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
and
Which is why whenever you do, which is why in episode 13 at the end he strikes him and it pops up immortality.
Yeah,
Because he
and-
had it always turned
And
on.
see, the reason why he had it though is because he was gonna make himself the final boss, like floor 100.
I know, so he could never actually go below.
Yeah.
But that also meant he wasn't really trying to fight the other mobs.
Well, no, he actually did. He actually did fight the mobs quite a bit. You know, he actually did help
he
out and stuff
did,
like that.
but at the same
so it's
time,
like, in a sense,
but at the
he
same
didn't
time,
really
he-
make it impossible for
he-
everybody.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like your guy says, as much as you have to hate it, SAO is fair. The
Yeah,
world that they lived in was fair. There was no way you could go around the system and do something that was unfair. The only thing that was unfair would be the sleeping player killings.
Well, even though it was the player kills, but it was like there was obviously loopholes around those and stuff like that. But it was like, you know, the boss fights and all those other things. They were like, if you took it appropriately, you know, you could fight the bosses and everything. I mean, you obviously saw Kirito, like, he just essentially 1v1 the boss, you know. Like it was
I mean, that was one of the best episodes. One of the great episodes
that
watching.
was definitely a good episode.
And I loved his reaction when Austin started hugging him. He's like, "Hey, you don't need to hug me too hard. You're gonna take my last HP.
Yeah, I got 1 HP left.
Like you're gonna kill me right here. Like at least give me some healing potions first. Like shit."
Dies from hugs. That'd be a way to go.
I mean, hey, that brings the dying in the woman's of your love arms,
dying in the
arms of your loved one, literally.
Yeah. Put that on your gravestone.
I died in the love of my love.
Died from hugs.
I'm playing one as well.
But no,
That's gonna sting.
there's a lot of great things from it, and I'm really intrigued. The next episode will be coming out in October of this year. I did the math on what Saturday, because they said it's coming out on a Saturday, so I picked the middle Saturday, which was October 25th. So by that time, there should be a new episode for SAO.
See, I wonder what's gonna happen. I mean, I've definitely been sticking with it because I've been giving it the benefit of the doubt. It's definitely there's been some good, there's been some ups and downs.
For me, this was one of the.
Pretty good at just about everything.
So for me, my first anime, I don't know why on God's earth that this was the anime that got me into anime. Elephant Lied.
Get out of my house.
Very dark.
Get out of my house.
Very dark anime.
Get out.
Oh, okay. Mine's just as bad.
It was very dark and like really messed up, but it was a great anime.
It's trash.
It is not trash.
It was
It is a pile of garbage.
No, it's not.
okay. So
Just like, oh, I like the second half
Listen,
of Death Note.
I got you.
I don't watch that.
Oh
No.
God, no, no.
But,
we do
so-
not speak of that.
So I watched that, started watching more, got in the SAO, got in the Locker Horizon, got in the Overlord, while in SAO watching Ruby.
Oh, Ruby was kind of a.
I'm
that's
still
one of
up
those
to date with
fan-
Ruby.
That's one of those fan made things. So I give it that one's pretty good.
Ruby isn't even really fan made.
Well, it's not fan made, but it's like one of those things where it's not really a.
Anime.
It's like a fun project. Yeah.
It's
I would
not
put it as
anime,
a-
but it is an anime. Actually, it turned into an anime recently due to the
Yeah.
fact that they had a Japanese team come in and take over and actually did stuff with that. That's different topics. So SAO, I have something that's close to me as starting off, and so it's one of those. As much as I get annoyed with it, I love it
Yeah,
because
see,
it's so cheesy, but funny at the same
yeah,
time.
it's good. Mine was like my first anime was Rosario and Vampire.
That's another great one. I
So it was
love.
kind of funny, but it was that one, and then I went into Fairy Tail, and it's like I ended up dropping those two.
I
essentially,
ended.
and then I found I started watching Toonami or whatever, and I ran across Sword Art Online, and that's where I eventually started watching it.
So,
So that's how I got it too.
but especially for this newest season, and especially for the movie, Cardinal Scale. One of my favorite parts in Cardinal Scale was whenever the dad was going in and trying to explain the Kaiba's after image, I guess you would say.
his
I-
brain.
I have to do this. And even Kaiba says, if I was in your shoes and I was alive, I'd probably do the same.
And see, okay,
But
so
I'm not. I believe in something more. I believe in like he doesn't even say it, but the way, but you know what he's talking about when he says I believe in something that's more powerful and something more, and that's that was Kaiba's fight with Kirigaya when Kirigaya showed the human will overcame the cardinal scale.
and see, listen. So this is what I feel is interesting. All right, so the last season, you know, we're showing where Kirigaya he's in that the cryostasis, I guess is what you would say. It talks about how the guy's trying to militarize, you know, different AI, all sorts of stuff like that. Well, I feel like another thing is immortality. They're trying to tap into that aspect in a secret way. And that's what I feel like it is. Because they showed hints, whatever, they showed the other stasis, they showed another, like, cryo thing. But we have no idea who it is or what it is or anything like that.
Well,
And
they
it's
also,
like,
but they never said it was occupied. They said it was down.
What do you mean?
They said the other cryo tubes in there were down.
Well,
They were not operational because
There was two other ones. There was Kirigayas and there was one other. They were still up and running and everything. So, and that's where there's a character that's or somebody that's going to be introduced in the next season.
We'll find out.
And that's why I'm thinking.
And it very well could be Kaiba.
And see, that's what I was saying. It could be something with Kaiba, something to do with the immortality thing. But who knows? Like, it's just a bunch of one of those theory buildings.
I mean, because the main reason why they got Kirigaya to come there was due to the fact that the restart his brainwaves was to make him go through this process.
Yeah.
So if they really wanted,
he was essentially dead. He was essentially comatose.
yes.
But they ended up. They had because with the flux light, he had enough flux light and everything to stabilize and everything.
Well, that's because he already had the flux light already
Yeah, exactly.
working with
That's what I
them.
meant. Like,
So
he had enough flux light for that. So
which especially brings into a whole new like just reality of like I thought like when they first talked about virtual reality I was like, oh my god, like this is a great idea, like this is gonna be the future. Like even here in reality, like we have virtual reality but we don't have the full dive, which I'm excited for whenever that comes out.
yeah,
But-
there's definitely plenty of ways to do that.
But if the way they talk about flux lights in the show and how it's the human soul, I'm somewhat worried at the same time that they're misinterpreting the human
Yeah.
body.
Well, it's like in order to do a full dive, you
well,
have to understand the brain.
that is true.
That's-
That's one of the biggest areas on the human body that we have no idea how it functions truly,
Yeah.
and we're still learning about it. And yet there has been studies where there are the microtubes and stuff that has energy going through, which is what they call the flux lights. So that is a true scientific fact that is going on in the human brain, which is really intriguing that they actually brought that into the show.
Yeah.
Especially
But that's why I had touched on the subject that I feel like they might be meddling with immortality. Like
And if
that's
they're-
what the scientists are trying to actually get at.
I mean, if that's what they're trying to do, who knows?
Yeah, because
Especially
there's
no-
definitely
especially
like, with what was
knowing-
mentioned, there's definitely a deeper meaning.
Yes.
There's something that
I
we're
mean,
not seeing.
especially thinking about how sci-fi and stuff has shaped reality.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the cell phone, iPhone, or cell phones, iPads, and all this, that came from Star Trek. If you like, all these things came from all these different science fiction shows that no one thought was really like, that were like all these weird scientific like weird shit going on, but they actually used that. They looked at it and they're like, oh, that's something that could actually be useful. Let's try to look into it. And so they created the cell phone, the iPhone, the iPad, the Skype, where you could actually see someone's face on screen and they can see yours even though you're miles apart. Like there's so much stuff that comes from science fiction that comes to reality. So I'm really worried if someone tries to take the flux lights to a too
literal
Well,
term.
I don't know if that's essentially going to be the case because that's one of those definitely like really beta things. Like you can't.
Oh no, the flux light, yes, the flux light term, yes, but the idea of the microtubes in the brain is not. That's an actual thing. Now, I'm worried that someone's going to try to take that idea and actually use it.
Yeah.
Now, virtual reality is something we've taken, and same with augmented reality, we've taken and worked on it. But we have, for virtual reality, we have never done a full dive like SAO.
Yeah, and see, that's where I think the full dive would definitely be like, once you understand a certain amount of the human brain, which is basically transmitting data and everything, that's all you really need. It's just essentially dealing with the senses and sending and receiving data through the brain, then you can essentially create a full dive.
Yes.
It's really not as hard as it seems, but it's just getting a full understanding and making it safe.
So, for my final question, I'd like to ask, if SAO, Sword Art Online, Ironclad was a real thing, and someone came out with Roll Dive Virtual Reality tomorrow, and that was the first game they created, or something similar, but completely different name,
It would become a non-issue because it's just
would you go out and buy it?
Yeah, why not?
Would you wouldn't
Like
care?
even if the consequences were, you know, this, and this, sure, why not? It'd be one of
I'll
those
see
situations.
you in there.
It's like it'd be one of those situations where it's like,
it does take time.
do what you're happy doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see you in there, because I'd be sitting there,
It'd be fun to have some.
I would be like, you know what?
That poses a chance.
Screw it. I'll leave a note. I'd write a note before I hopped in saying, hey, Mom, Dad, whichever sibling comes find me first. Because I'll send out a message saying, hey, I'm doing this. Come check out my body.
My favorite looking one is the
Like within 24 hours, please. I'd leave a note. Hey, if something did happen, here's the things you do not do. Take me to a hospital now.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's like-
hey, just
it's
get me
like-
there.
And it's like me, I would even consider doing like even if it was in a testing phase, like where say they invited you, hey, it's like we're testing,
Like a
we're
beta?
doing, yeah, we're doing facility testing.
Oh hell yeah, I'd still
So-
join.
Yeah, I would do that. I would not have. I would do stuff like that. And I would definitely be in a project and consider that.
Okay,
I think
well,
it'd be fun and interesting.
Mark,
Yes.
if you'd like to take us out, since I'm horrible at outros.
I'm definitely not good.
This has been Virtual Rejects.
Yeah. Don't forget to drop a follow. And yeah, drop a follow on this channel as well as some of our own channels if you want to support us in pretty much any way. We don't have like any other real way to support us yet. We do have YouTube, so you can like and subscribe there. All of our channels and stuff will be under the Twitch video. But as for all that, I guess that's pretty much it. So, see you guys.
See you guys next time. Next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Or every other Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m.
Sure, I guess.
See ya.